is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is NXT for December 11th, 2019. And next Wednesday is shaping up to be a very big week in the Wednesday night wars between AEW and NXT. This entire NXT show was done to set up everything going into that big December 18th show. We know that it's going to be spearheaded by Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. And on this show, the biggest thing that they were building towards outside of that women's match was the triple threat match. The number one contenders triple threat match with Keith Lee, Finn Balor, and Tommaso Ciampa. Winner of this match goes on to December 18th show to challenge Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. AEW themselves has a very big show, and NXT is setting themselves up to obviously counter-program AEW Dynamite next week, which they have a tag team championship match, the Young Bucks versus SCU. Obviously, we all know Chris Jericho and Jungle Boy, Kenny Omega, and Adam Hangman Page against the Lucha Brothers. It's going to be a big, big deal. On top of what we've already seen with Cody and MJF, NXT is setting themselves up to counter-program AEW. And this was a setup show. The only things that really mattered on this show, outside of the video packages for the Women's Championship match, was the triple threat and the beginning with Angel Garza and Lio Rush in the opening contest for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Everything in between was enhancements. Everything in between was either a video package or a setup getting you ready for next week. So, both of these shows, AEW and NXT, were just steps going towards next week's December 18th show. We got the Cruiserweight Championship. We're going to talk about Lio Rush loses the Cruiserweight Championship to Angel Garza. What a story Angel Garza has been, man. Unbelievable how we looked at him in the breakout tournament. And the first thing that I said to myself, and I said to a lot of my buddies that I go back and forth with weekly about NXT, is that I want to see more of Angel Garza. And look at where he is now. Look at how over he is. Look at the type of performer that he's making himself into on NXT TV. Take nothing away from Lio Rush. Lio Rush has always been great. I've had the opportunity to call Lio Rush matches in House of Glory on more than one occasion. I know how good Lio Rush is, but it's unbelievable to see the amount of work that Angel Garza has put in and gotten himself over to a degree where I honestly don't even know who's babyface and who's heel when he's in the ring half the time. He's that over. Cruiserweight Championship, unbelievable match. We're going to go over exactly what happened and the emotional conclusion to that match where Angel Garza actually not only won the championship from Lio Rush, but proposed to his girlfriend in the ring after the match was over. We're going to go over that. We got Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. They're building towards that. You guys know how I feel about this. It might be the opportunity, finally, where I can actually say Shayna's time in NXT is all but over. Certainly seems that way. We'll go over what they did tonight to build to that match. Cameron Grimes and Kushida building towards their nice little mini feud. We got that going on. The build, or I should say the lack thereof build, for Worlds Collide. We got some more teases about that in the weeks to come. Mi-Yim and Dakota Kai, we got those two women going at it. And what happened after the match is actually what should have been in the match. So we'll talk about that as well right here on the podcast. Bianca Bel-Air back on NXT TV. And then clearly the triple threat match, which we will go over. Finn Balor is now the number one contender for Adam Cole and the NXT Championship. A lot of people are asking why. Why didn't they go with Keith Lee? Why didn't they go with Tommaso Ciampa? Why are they going with Finn Balor? We're going to talk about the why. It should be very easy as to what that why is. You guys are no dummies. I think I've conditioned you well enough to know why the why is what it is. But I'm holding out hope that NXT's doing what they got to do to counter-program AEW. But I'm also hoping that they are really building towards something special with either Tommaso Ciampa or Keith Lee. We just don't know when or what that is going to be, when it's going to happen. So we're going to talk about that. I got a nice little conclusion as to why I think they did what they did last night on NXT. We're going to go over all this right here on the podcast. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here for NXT. If you guys want to hit that subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's do that. Subscribe. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Follow me on social media, both on Twitter and Instagram. That is JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. There's some gaming content thrown in there. Monday Night Raw review is there. Over 30,000 views real time. So thank you guys so very much for all of that on the Monday Night Raw review. If you guys missed my AEW Dynamite review from last night, that is up on the channel right now. A lot of stuff and a lot more stuff to come. We got Off the Script, which I'm going to record later for tomorrow, episode 304. And then the TLC pay-per-view on Sunday night. That is shaping up to be one of the worst builds that WWE has given us all year. But normally when we see lazy builds, they end up actually being some of the best WWE shows in the year. So we'll see what happens. But the TLC pay-per-view is this Sunday, so I'm going to get you guys ready for everything you need to know going into this weekend. But like I said, check out all the other stuff that you might have missed down in the description below. Easy access for you. Links are there. Go and check all that stuff out. If you want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can certainly do so. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And tonight the podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Use our unique link. Get 30 days free of their service. And one free audio book as well, using our link. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling-related, being that this is a wrestling-related podcast, right here on YouTube. Again, guys, 30 days free and one free complimentary audio book on Audible by using our link. That's audibletrial.com/offthescript. Both of the Wednesday night shows have a tendency to open up with a very intense, high-flying, very exciting opening match. And last night on NXT was no different. It brings me back to the days of WCW Nitro going head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. Back then, it was Raw is War. I miss those days. But WCW used to always open Nitro with a Cruiserweight match. I love the fact that when we watch NXT, we usually get, most of the time, a high-octane, high-flying match, but most of the time it's always with the Cruiserweights. And last night was no different with Lio Rush and Angel Garza, NXT Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Lio Rush won their first contest in very fuck-finish-like fashion. Lio Rush had pinned Angel Garza. Angel Garza got his foot underneath the rope. Referee didn't see it. This obviously constitutes as a rematch in a pro wrestling fan's eyes. Angel Garza was screwed. Angel Garza took it a little bit more personally, and he actually kind of, I would say, he didn't throw himself at Lio Rush's wife, but he kind of teased in a sexual manner right in front of Lio Rush's wife as he took his pants off. Lio Rush obviously did not take a liking to this. Why would he? He is not a cuck like Rusev. So Lio Rush did not take a liking to this. The feud has become emotional, and it's become a little bit more personal, which has led us to what happened last night. Cruiserweight Championship on the line in these men's second time meeting in the middle of the ring. Garza incredibly over at Full Sail University. Like I said, it's unbelievable to see. And it goes to show you how great the breakout tournament was. It really goes to show you how the breakout tournament was and how it was so great in aiding Angel Garza to get over. Cameron Grimes. A lot of guys in that tournament got over. You know, more so than others, but it's a patience thing. It's a timing thing. Not everybody could be featured on TV at the same time. ACH, Jordan Miles, fucking goon. So he obviously was not patient enough, and now look at all the patience that is paying off for Angel Garza, man. Incredibly over at Full Sail. People love him in Full Sail. And I know a lot of people usually tend to, I would say, compare when they see a Latin American superstar. They usually compare them to Eddie Guerrero. Nobody will ever be Eddie Guerrero. But when I look at Angel Garza and everybody that came before him, I see so much of Eddie Guerrero in Angel Garza, more so than I seen in any other superstar that came before him. He has the potential to be the next Eddie Guerrero if they let him flourish the way he has so far in NXT. He is absolutely amazing. I am a huge fan of what Angel Garza is doing. Lio Rush, same thing as last time when he came out. People were actually booing him during the ring entrance for Lio Rush. Garza over, Lio Rush booed. Same thing that happened last time these guys were in the ring. Mixed reactions. Garza, during the introductions, was pointing towards the crowd, telling Lio Rush if he hears that, because the fans were cheering for him. He then points to the title and says, the title will be mine at the end of the night. Absolute chaos, highly emotional match. Right from the get-go, action spilled to the outside. Garza into the steps. Rush went right back into the ring, went back outside, and Garza tripped him up on the ring apron. Lio Rush hit the ring apron face first on the way down. Both back in the ring. Garza quickly goes for a 2 count. Rush went for the come-up. That bottom rope springboard stunner that he's been using. Calls it the come-up. Rush went for the come-up. He missed. He sat in the middle of the ring after missing the come-up. Garza with the basement dropkick goes for a quick cover. Only a 2 count. Rush was crotched on the middle turnbuckle. Garza with a stiff super kick as Lio Rush was just hanging out to dry. He went for another 2 count. So Garza pretty, quick with those 2 counts. He was going right for those 2 counts. You see the sense of urgency on Garza after what had happened to him in the first match. Both men in the middle of the ring now. Big slugfest is ensuing. Rush went for a leapfrog off the rope, but Garza slingshotted him midair and hot-shotted him on the top rope. And we go to a commercial break. That took Lio Rush out of the match for the time being as Garza was in control through the break with some clotheslines, some submission holds, really grounding Lio Rush during the commercial break. AEW does not do this correctly. And I got to call them out again on this because they did it again last night. Every time we see AEW go to a commercial, it's in a weird spot. You know, it seems like it's a spot where a commercial should not be taken. NXT and WWE tend to do it correctly. If you got the picture-in-picture, not much is happening in the picture-in-picture. It's usually the heel, working on the babyface and getting heat on the babyface. They're grounding the babyface with moves that you really don't care to see. It's moves that you would tend to see or hope to see during the commercial break. AEW doesn't go to the picture-in-picture commercial very seamlessly. They got high-risk, high-offensive moves, big moves happening during the picture-in-picture. I don't want to see that. They got to get better with that. So that's one of the negatives from AEW Dynamite. They got to go to commercial a little bit better than they are doing right now. So Rush was taken out of the match by Garza during the commercial break. Back from commercial, Rush hit a tilt-a-whirl head scissors, followed up with a head scissors to Garza, which took him to the outside. Rush with a springboard reverse moonsault to Garza from the ring to the outside. It was a step-up moonsault on the second rope to the outside on Garza. Very nicely done by Lio Rush. Rush with a springboard moonsault. Back in the ring, cover, only a 2 count. So he went for a quick cover after that moonsault. Rush went for the come up for a second time. Garza knew it was coming, so he followed right behind Rush, and he went for a come up. He bounced off the bottom rope. Rush bounced back, knowing that nobody was there for the stunner. Garza, at the same time, bounced off the bottom rope and hit Lio Rush with his own version of the come up. Sloppy, but he got enough of it for a 2 count. Garza, at this point, I have to point out, still has his pants on. His white pants are still on. Normally they would be off, but I'm wondering, when is Garza and his pants going to become a thing in this match? Rush up top, Garza with a kick to the head. Up top now, avalanche Spanish fly by Angel Garza. Crowd went absolutely crazy for this. Garza couldn't believe it. Both men now on their feet, trading shots back and forth. Both up. Roundhouse kick by Rush, super kick by Garza. Both men go down again. Huge NXT chance. Rush is back up, hits Garza with the wing clipper. His own finishing move for a 2 count. I don't really like that spot. I didn't like it here. I don't like it when it's done in any other situation with any other opponent. I do not like when someone uses a finishing move against their opponent that is their own finishing move. I do not like it. It makes the move look weak. Garza should be finishing people off with the wing clipper. And here we got Lio Rush using the wing clipper against Angel Garza, and Angel Garza kicks out of his own finishing move. In my mentality, if Garza is kicking out of his own finishing move, then it really isn't a devastating finishing move. It's not something that's going to be finishing off people. That's just the way I see it. I don't like that spot, never liked that spot. I don't really care to see that spot ever again, to be quite honest with you. Garza had Rush in an electric chair. Rush jumped off of Garza's shoulders to the bottom rope for a come-up. So out of the electric chair, he jumped off of Garza's shoulders, bounced off the bottom rope, finally hit the come-up after the 3rd attempt. This was the 3rd attempt, and he finally got the come-up. Rush went up top quickly for the final hour, only got a 2 count. Here we got Lio Rush doing his finishing move, and Garza is kicking out of the final hour. That split-legged frog splash by Lio Rush, which looks absolutely beautiful every time he does it. Garza rolled to the outside. Rush tried to stop him from rolling to the outside after hitting the final hour. And finally, Garza's pants come off. Rush grabbed his pants. That's all he hung on to as Garza rolled to the outside. He grabbed nothing but pants. Pissed. Rush went to the top rope. Garza rolled to the outside. Rush only grabbed his pants. He seen Garza on the outside. He went to the top rope. He went for the final hour on the outside, but Garza got the knees up on the outside. It was crazy enough that Lio Rush was actually going for the final hour on the outside, but then Garza got the knees up. Garza quickly rolled Rush back into the ring. A devastating wing clipper. I thought that this was over. After the final hour miss on the outside, and then he rolled Rush back into the ring, hit the wing clipper. The way he hit it, I thought it was over. I thought it was over right there. Lio Rush kicks out. A literal cunt hair. 3 count almost made there. Barely kicked out. It was 2 9/10 by Lio Rush. Garza held the hold. A reverse full Nelson into the wing clipper like submission. Rush tapped out. Great match. Rush loses the Cruiserweight Championship. Angel Garza is the new Cruiserweight Champion. Now, I don't know what you guys are thinking about this. I think everybody is probably on my side in saying Angel Garza deserves the Cruiserweight Championship. But a part of me thinks that Lio Rush and his reign ended in very premature fashion. It ended in a rather short time span. Now, I am not really going to complain about this. It just goes to show you how over Angel Garza is. This was the right decision. It's not the last time that these two are going to meet. Lio Rush might have had an abbreviated title reign, but I would rather have an abbreviated title reign and give someone the title that is as hot as Angel Garza. I love seeing new WWE superstars born, right before our eyes. Angel Garza was definitely on his way to being that next breakout guy. We seen it at the start of the tournament earlier in the year, and now it's coming full circle. I can't really sit here and disagree with this decision. Yes, it does feel abbreviated. Yes, it does feel short. It's not going to be the last time that these two are in the ring. Now, what I would do, and I hope WWE actually listens to me here because I've been screaming to the heavens that these two deserve a takeover. Next week is the last show of the year. They're not having a show on Christmas Day. After Christmas, it's New Year's. So we'll be in 2020. February 16th is the next takeover show. You got 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in January. Then you got another couple weeks in February to build towards that takeover show. I don't think the New Year's Day show is going to be anything all that big. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what NXT usually does. They don't really do anything on New Year's Day, but being that we're in the middle of the Wednesday Night Wars, that might change. But I can't see anything really big happening on that first show. You got 6 or 7 weeks towards TakeOver. Lio Rush obviously has to get back if logic overcomes all here. Lio Rush has to get back into the Cruiserweight title picture. Give him a couple of wins over some big names in the Cruiserweight division. Have him work towards a rematch again against Angel Garza. And then give these two guys a takeover stage to do even more and build on what they did here. They need a takeover stage. Those guys deserve a takeover stage. Lio Rush has been very vocal in recent weeks about how WWE handles the main roster, that is. How the main roster handles the Cruiserweight division. That they're underused and undervalued, and they don't really appreciate the Cruiserweight division. 205 Live is really not appreciated by the WWE. So I want to see these guys get that spotlight in front of 10, 12,000 people at TakeOver, and I want to see them go out there and absolutely kill it on a TakeOver stage. I think both of them deserve it, and both will be bigger superstars for it, because it will be on a bigger level than just Full Sail University. Give it to them. I think both of them need it. Both of them deserve it. The Cruiserweight title needs it. The Cruiserweight title deserves it. Some of the best matches of the WWE calendar year have come out of the Cruiserweight division. Start showing the proper appreciation for what this division and what these guys are doing on WWE TV. I cannot stress that enough. Congratulations to Angel Garza. He wins the Cruiserweight Championship, and then after the match, he was going over what he loved in life. He loves pro wrestling. He loves the fans in the NXT universe. He loves his family, and then he pulled his girlfriend into the ring, had his sweat jacket on. He pulls out a box. In the box is an engagement ring. He proposes to his girlfriend, and obviously she said yes. What a night it was for Angel Garza. Cruiserweight Championship, newly engaged. Congratulations to him. I can't wait to see what he does with that Cruiserweight Championship. Everything about Angel Garza has been done brilliantly in NXT, and I'm very much looking forward to what he does in 2020. We got Shayna Baszler and a video package with Shayna Baszler. I love this woman even more so now. They showed her off in front of her 1969 Ford Mustang. Mustang girl. Gotta love it. A lot of people are the Tesla of the NXT universe, or they think that they're the Tesla of the NXT universe. They do all this fancy stuff, but there's something about muscle cars that you can't get anywhere else. She's not here for the fans. She's here for the title. She hears the word momentum thrown around about Rhea Ripley, and as a counterpoint, she starts listing off all the major challengers that she's beat. And Bianca Bel-Air was one of them. You know, she says that she's undefeated. Shayna Baszler uses the word defeated. So shots at everybody she is defeated, and shots of her working on her car and then driving her car. Really good spot here to hype her vision of what she is thinking about going into next week for the NXT Women's Championship match against Rhea Ripley. So there you go. 1969 Ford Mustang. So when you think you can't like Shayna Baszler more, there you go. Awesome. Cameron Grimes, Raul Mendoza. It was Kushida and Raul Mendoza. It was supposed to be Kushida and Raul Mendoza last week, but Cameron Grimes came out of nowhere and blasted Raul Mendoza, took him out of that match, opted to get Kushida instead. So that's what we got last week, and Cameron Grimes paid for it because Kushida beat him. So Cameron Grimes versus Raul Mendoza was a revenge of sorts for Raul Mendoza. Mendoza out first, Grimes out second. He teased attacking him before the bell. Mendoza quickly attacked Cameron Grimes with a drop kick upon the bell, sent Grimes out of the ring. Corkscrew plancha by Mendoza. Mendoza wanted a crossbody, but Grimes reversed. Quickly, Kushida showed up at ringside, and he was distracting Cameron Grimes. Mendoza trapped Grimes, pinned him. Raul Mendoza wins. Mauro Ranallo screamed. Literally a minute and a half, and Raul Mendoza pulls off the upset on Cameron Grimes due to the distraction of Kushida. What was Kushida doing, you're asking? Well, he came down. He didn't really interject himself in the match. He didn't jump up on the apron. He was making a motion towards Cameron Grimes' top hat. He was going to steal the top hat, which he eventually took off the steel post. He actually mocked Cameron Grimes after the loss to Raul Mendoza, put the top hat on, and obviously this is building towards their next inevitable match on NXT TV. So there you go. Cameron Grimes, a lot of people didn't really like that he lost to Raul Mendoza in this fashion, but Raul Mendoza is another one of those guys that is underappreciated, undervalued, very overlooked in NXT. I think he's great. I'd love to see him and Angel Garza go at it for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think that would be a phenomenal match. Raul Mendoza gets a win. A much-deserved win. Cameron Grimes is over. He's going to be a staple in 2020 for NXT, so having Raul Mendoza win here to build the feud that is going on between Kushida and Grimes isn't that big of a deal. Raul Mendoza wins, and good for him. Mi-Yim is with Kathy Kelly. Mi-Yim said Dakota Kai took her out of the biggest match of her life, and War Games was going to be the biggest night of her career. This is going to be a fight, and she will inflict so much pain that Dakota will be the one in an ambulance tonight. So that is Mi-Yim. We'll see. We'll see, because last week there was a situation where Rhea Ripley sent Mi-Yim out there to take out Dakota Kai before her match. She didn't even have her match last week, did Kai. And the beatdown that Mi-Yim brought upon Dakota Kai was very weak, and it didn't do anything to get me excited about this match here tonight. So at this point in the show, I was hoping that Mi-Yim and Dakota Kai would bring out that intensity that we seen from Dakota Kai at War Games. We can only hope. Honestly, I was disappointed by the end of the night, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So the WWE has the Worlds Collide, NXT UK versus NXT, the last Saturday of the month, right before the Royal Rumble, that Sunday. And they are giving you another preview on NXT last night as a Worlds Collide preview in January. It's Travis Banks versus Jackson Ryker. Now, if you want me to get interested in what you're doing with the Worlds Collide, this is not the way to go about it. Last week with Cassius Ohno, it's not the way to go about it. Now, I don't know what WWE is doing here. Obviously, these are just small seeds planted in what I am sure will be an NXT UK versus NXT month-long feud in January to build towards Worlds Collide. But this is not really going to get me excited. I would rather you feature some other NXT talent that really hasn't been featured yet, being that this was more of a setup show to next week. Don't really give a shit about either of these guys. I'm not a big fan of Travis Banks. I'm not a big fan of Jackson Ryker at all. And I would rather see other talent that you've been keeping on the sidelines in NXT instead of this. And I would rather you wait until January to start building towards Worlds Collide, because this is not it. So the crowd was fairly familiar with Travis Banks as they chanted Kiwi Buzzsaw. That is his nickname in NXT UK. Both threw kicks early. Banks got dumped to the outside. Ryker followed, and Banks hit a punt kick. So Banks was in the ring. He tried to do a tope through the ropes, and Jackson Ryker met him head on with a fucking elbow. That elbow almost knocked Travis Banks silly, but it gave him a nice little gash on the side of his head. Action went back into the inside. Ryker threw some big chops in the corner. Springboard brain buster by Ryker. Banks threw rights to try and get back into it. He tripped Ryker into the turnbuckle, hit him with a running dropkick, and then a cannonball in the corner. At this point, it was very visible that Banks was busted open, I'm assuming due to that forearm from the suicide dive to the outside in the beginning of the match. Banks went up top, missed, rolled through, and then ran into a double axe handle. Running knee followed up by Ryker. Banks hit his finisher from the corner, calls the slice of heaven. It's a kick off the second turnbuckle, more like a disaster kick by Cody. It's pretty much what it is. For a quick pin, and that was it. Travis Banks beats the muscle of the Forgotten Sons. How big of a guy, how much muscle is Jackson Ryker when he cannot even win a match on his own? So when Ryker was hit with the slice of heaven, Banks' finishing move, Ryker was actually just kicking out at the 3 count, which I noticed, which kind of led everybody to believe, watching at home, that it was a surprise upset victory. He didn't really do much with the slice of heaven, and Ryker was just kicking out at the 3 count, maintaining the fact that he's a beast and a big guy and the muscle of the Forgotten Sons. Banks obviously seen Ryker get up almost instantly, and he ran up the ramp quickly, and that was one of the biggest wins of Banks' career in WWE, said Nigel McGuinness. Again, this does nothing to get me excited about the Worlds Collide. Travis Banks, I don't know if he lives in Florida. I don't know if he's, located overseas. But from just me watching this, it seems like they flew in Travis Banks for this worthless show for a 3-minute match to get a victory over Jackson Ryker, which did nothing to get me excited about the Worlds Collide show that's happening Royal Rumble weekend. That's the way I see it. I don't know if that's the case, but that's the way I see it. With all the effort that they are putting into the December 18th show, the Worlds Collide obviously is taking a backseat. Nobody's really talking about the Worlds Collide show, NXT versus NXT UK, because everybody's building towards that December 18th show. Matches like this are fine for segment fillers, but this did nothing to get anybody invested in the Worlds Collide. You might as well, like I said, just wait until after the new year and start building your TV show on Wednesday with NXT UK and NXT. And start building properly for this Worlds Collide. I am interested to see how much effort WWE actually puts into this. If it will be given a takeover treatment, or if it will actually be a throwaway gimmick to add to the already overwhelming Royal Rumble weekend. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but being that NXT UK is being involved here with NXT local, I'm assuming it's going to have that takeover vibe. So we'll see what happens, but I'm interested to see what they do as far as the build goes, because what they have done so far with Ono and Travis Banks, you ain't getting me excited about anything happening on that last Saturday of January. Mi-Yim, Dakota Kai. This was a revenge match of sorts. Mi-Yim wanted Dakota Kai after what happened at War Games. Mi-Yim got some of her revenge last week. It didn't come off very well whatsoever. So we got this match here tonight. Mi-Yim hit a dropkick just after the bell. One thing that I noticed last night was that this was the third match of the evening that the babyface started out and just instantly attacked the heel, attacking at the bell early. Now, I guess in all cases, it kind of made sense. You got Lio Rush and Angel Garza. His wife was involved. Lio Rush's wife was involved, so I get that. You got Raul Mendoza, who didn't really appreciate being taken up by Cameron Grimes last year. I understand that. You got Mi-Yim and Dakota Kai with what happened at War Games to Mi-Yim. I understand that. So it did make sense. But this was the third babyface that started the match out in a very intense fashion. Chops in the corner by Yim early. Fists by Dakota to try and rally herself back. Mi-Yim tripped Dakota and hit a basement dropkick for 2. In the corner, Tarantula by Yim. So she's pulling out that Tajiri is Mi-Yim. Yim went up top of the missile dropkick. Yim sent Kai crashing to the ring steps. Mi-Yim followed up with a cannonball that sandwiched Kai in to the ring steps. We go to commercial break. So back from commercial, Mi-Yim was hitting a dragon screw. Went for a cover, only a 2 count. Elbows by Kai in the corner, and then a shot to the face for a 2 count with that running team kick. That Sami Zayn Helluva kick in the corner. Only a 2 count. Kai was taunting Mi-Yim because she's the heel. Yim got up, hit some kicks of her own to Dakota Kai. She rolled Kai up for a 2. Overhead belly to belly by Yim, another 2 count. Yim wanted Code Blue. She hit Code Blue. And Yim, after Code Blue, after Kai kicked out of Code Blue, Yim charged Kai in the corner. Kai backed and hit a sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count. Moro said it wasn't a wrestling. I don't know why I put this in my notes, but I had to because it was ridiculous. Nothing about this match screamed fight. But Moro said that this wasn't a wrestling match. It was a fight. It looked more like a wrestling match and nothing like a fight until after the match was over. German suplex by Mi-Yim for a 2 count. Yim dropped Kai on her knee, and Yim was on the outside. So Yim and Kai on the outside. Kai goes back into the ring. She grabs her knee brace. Not her knee brace, but Tegan Nox's knee brace. The ref took it from Dakota Kai. And as the referee was taking the knee brace, Dakota Kai was quickly unhooking the top turnbuckle pad. So then she shoved Mi-Yim, who was coming in from behind. She shoved Mi-Yim face first into the unprotected steel. And she rolled her up from behind for a 3 count. And Dakota Kai gets the pin over Mi-Yim. Really nothing special here between these two. Nothing. It wasn't a bad match. It was decent for what it was, but it didn't really embody the intensity of someone who was taken to the hospital and taken out of War Games a couple weeks ago because of Dakota Kai. It didn't really warrant any of that. This is supposed to be revenge. This is supposed to be a fight. Mi-Yim just got done saying that this was the biggest night of her career in the biggest match of her life. And here she is chain wrestling Dakota Kai. No instance of a fight in this entire match until after the match was over. Mi-Yim attacked Dakota Kai after the match, took her out to the outside into the crowd, and they went into the tech area right where commentary was. So Mi-Yim and Dakota Kai were up in the tech area. There were 2 tables down below. Mi-Yim suplexed Dakota Kai down off the tech area through one of the tables. I'm not sure if both tables were supposed to break, but the fact that one table broke and this spot looked ridiculously dangerous after what had happened, I'm very curious to know if either one of these women are hurt following this spot. Now, it wasn't high up at all. It was maybe 5-6 feet down below from where the tech area was, but there was 2 tables set up. One of the tables, the furthest table, did not break. Dakota Kai and Mi-Yim went through that table closest to the wall, but on the way down, more so Dakota Kai. But Mi-Yim hit hard. Dakota Kai's head hit the back. It looks like it. I'm not sure if it was. She might have just barely missed it. But from the replay, I watched it about 7 or 8 times. Dakota Kai on the way down might have hit her head on the back of the table that did not break, and it looked fucking brutal. Dakota Kai laid motionless there. Referees came over. Camera stayed on Mi-Yim. She was acting as if she was hurt. She was selling the fall. She was calling herself crazy. And the camera just stayed on Mi-Yim until the segment was over. So the camera lingered on Mi-Yim. Her music played. And I don't know why we didn't see this type of intensity in the actual match. This entire sequence is what the match actually should have been for the situation that happened to Mi-Yim at TakeOver. I don't understand that. I had absolutely no interest in anything these women did in the match, but after the match is when the real match actually happened. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Clearly they're setting up Dakota Kai for returning Tegan Nox, but Mi-Yim got her revenge. Where does Mi-Yim go from here? I don't know. Breezango versus the Singh brothers. What they're doing on NXT, I don't know. Breezango came out as hot doctors, and this is the first time that they've been on NXT TV in some time. I think that they've been on NXT only once since the start of the Wednesday Night Wars. I'm not even completely sure. So if you guys know, let me know. The Singh brothers, I don't even know what brand they're on. Why are they even here? Last time we seen them, they're running around like clowns on Monday Night Raw with R-Truth and the 24/7 title. So you guys know how I already feel about the Singh brothers. The most important thing in this situation is that the 24/7 title, I don't even know if they are 24/7 champions. I guess they were champions or champion. R-Truth is the champion, I think. But either way, if they are the champions, which I don't even give a shit about, clearly I don't care enough to know, because I'm so misinformed about the 24/7 title. If they are the champions, the title wasn't here. And if R-Truth is the champion, who gives a shit? Tyler Breeze, Sunil Singh, they started the match. Breeze with the forearm in the corner. Backcracker. Fandango tagged in. Sunil took him to the corner, hit some chops, tagged to Samir, who ran in to a leg drop for 2. So the Singhs were getting heat on Breezango. Breeze tagged back in. Samir ran him into his own corner, tagged Sunil. Sunil threw some fists to Breeze, dumped him to the outside. He distracted Breeze and the ref so Samir could get some shots in behind the referee's back. Back in, Samir tagged in. Bollywood Blast for a 2 count. That's a backbreaker elbow drop combination, which was very nicely done. Got to give him that. Samir grabbed the headlock, quickly broken by Breeze. Step up in Saguri. Fandango gets the hot tag. Boot and a missile drop kick. Back body drop. Fandango hits an avalanche Falcon Arrow on Samir. Then hit a Falcon Arrow on Sunil, who was the legal one. Went for a cover for a 2 count, broken up by Samir. Action spilled to the outside. Fandango hit a powerbomb on Samir on the apron, which looked fucking nasty. I don't know what it is with the apron spots in NXT. always brutal, man. And it's always, it's always more nasty than what we expect. So here was another one with a powerbomb on Samir here by Fandango. Soon after, Breezango hit their own Bollywood blast on Sunil on the outside. Back in the ring, flying leg drop by Fandango for the win over the Bollywood boys. And it's nice that Fandango have been off TV for a little bit. They're back on TV. They get a win to reestablish themselves. Hopefully we see more of them. I think that they are a great team. And I think they could be in line if WWE wants to build them up. Because right now there really is nobody else in the NXT Tag Team division. They could be a nice, suitable challenger for the Undisputed Era. So we'll see what happens. Bianca Belair and Kaden Carter. Bianca Belair is, again, don't know why, a work in progress. Seems to be NXT is reestablishing Bianca Belair after stop and start. Bianca Belair was on the heel team. She lost at War Games. She lost at Survivor Series. So Bianca Belair has not really been all that hot for the NXT women. So Bianca Belair and Kaden Carter, this was definitely more of a reintroduction to Bianca Belair again after a really shitty Survivor Series weekend. Bianca hit a shoulder running tackle, or a running shoulder tackle, I should say. She threw her jacket at Kaden Carter, blinded her. Jacket was on Carter's face, shoulder tackled to Carter down. Kicks and fists in the corner till the referee broke it up. So Bianca Belair still has that intensity, which I love. Carter hit a kick on Belair after a couple of escapes. Then a waist lock and a roll-up for 2 counts on Bianca Belair. Springboard crossbody for 2. Kaden wanted an Irish whip, but Bianca wasn't having it at all. She said, nope, you ain't going nowhere, bitch. Pendulum backbreaker by Bianca, who held and flipped Kaden for a stomach breaker or a gut buster. Bianca gut busted Kaden Carter into a Canadian backbreaker, and that looked brutal. I love when Bianca Belair starts just getting intense and showing that strength. Really, it's just a great thing to see. She charged but missed in the corner where Belair leaned in with her shoulder. Belair deadlifted Carter and spiked her on her face for a 2 count. Bianca looked annoyed that she didn't get the 3. She then started to taunt Kaden Carter, who hit a slap and a couple of chops to follow. Slingshot suplex by Belair. Belair wanted a standing moonsault but hit knees as Carter got the knees up. Kaden dumped Belair to the outside, hit a kick to Belair's face from the apron, tossed her back in the ring. She was going for something. Back and forth we go off the ropes. Belair nailed a spear on Kaden Carter and lifted her up for the KOD and the 1, 2, 3. That was pretty much it. Bianca Belair, like I said, reestablished after a down weekend at Survivor Series. Kaden Carter didn't look out of place. She is still slightly green. I expect to see more of her in 2020. This is more for Bianca than it is for Kaden Carter. Kaden Carter is going to be on TV more in the new year. So this is more of, like I said, just a reintroduction for Bianca Belair. And this is good because we need to see more of Bianca. I like heel Bianca more than I do baby face Bianca. And with Rhea Ripley, the overwhelming favorite to win the NXT Women's Championship next week, she's gonna need heel challenges to go one-on-one with when she wins that title. She has nobody but Io. There's nobody but Io right now. So Bianca Belair needs to be a heel, and she needs to be established to go one-on-one eventually with Rhea Ripley. That's my take on that. Main event, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor, and Keith Lee. All through the show, we've seen video packages of Finn Balor, Keith Lee, and Tommaso Ciampa giving you their word on how this match is important to them and how they're going to win this match all through the show. Very nicely done in all 3 instances. Ciampa was out first after his video package. He was the last video package to be shown. He said, Goldie, this is for you, in Gorilla before heading to the ring. Keith Lee followed. Balor was out last. Formal introductions took place, and this was done similar to when they have a championship match. That's how big NXT has been building to this match all night. The fact that they got actual championship-like introductions, and this was not a championship match, was a good thing to see. Keith Lee, incredibly over. Bask in his glory chants already at the start of this match. Match started with a back-and-forth melee. Balor played cat and mouse with Keith Lee, Lee caught him eventually. Lee, a moment later, did a slingshot crossbody to wipe out both Ciampa and Balor, which is always a great thing to see. Commercial break. This was one of 2 commercial breaks in the middle of this main event match last night on NXT. Lee was shining with some big splashes on both Ciampa and Balor when the show returned from break. Ciampa with a Cactus Jack-like clothesline, sending himself and Lee over the top rope to the floor. Ciampa and Balor now in the ring, and Ciampa had him reeling as he dominated for a few minutes. Ciampa with a double Willow's Bell on Lee and Balor in the corner. Ciampa with an air raid crash dropped Balor on Lee and went for pinfalls on both. Ciampa was hitting Lee with strikes when Lee began to answer back with some big overhand chops. Ciampa went for the fairy tale ending on Lee, could not get it. Balor returned to the ring, delivered double foot stomps to both Lee and Tommaso Ciampa. Balor was measuring Lee. Lee mowed him down with a pounce. Lee with splashes in the corner. That led to him steamrolling both Balor and Ciampa back and forth with some big stinger splashes in the corner. Double back body drop by Lee on Balor and Ciampa. Lee looked to go high risk, only for Ciampa and Balor to both execute a double avalanche side Russian leg sweep off the top rope, literally at the same time they were going to commercial. Now, I didn't like that. I have to call NXT out on their shit. That was such a terrible fucking spot to go to commercial. Literally, you're having an avalanche double side Russian leg sweep off the top rope, literally as you're in the process of going to commercial. Spot like that, you go to commercial in. Not after, in. A spot like that? I don't get that. Spot like that needs to be called by Morrow. Just an awful commercial spot. Awful timing on that commercial spot. You guys, if you were watching the show, you know what I'm talking about. Balor owned the match during this split-screen commercial break. Lee cut off Balor, but Ciampa spiked Lee with a draping DDT on the apron. Balor, with a sling blade on the floor, took Ciampa out. So the show returned from break. Tower of Doom spot is in the middle of happening. Ciampa was looking for an air raid crash off the top. Lee had Ciampa in an electric chair. And while he was in the electric chair, he had Balor in an air raid crash. So you know NXT and their triple threat matches, man. You're always going to see something that's going to just take you back and say, holy shit. So while Lee had Ciampa in the electric chair, Ciampa had Balor in an air raid crash. Everybody came tumbling down. Absolutely incredible spot. Lee went for a cover on Ciampa. Ciampa kicked out. Lee missed a moonsault press. He got up and absolutely devastated Ciampa with a jackhammer. Lee went for a jackhammer on Balor. Balor countered the jackhammer into a small package for a near fall. Balor countered Lee's spirit bomb with a double foot stomp. So Lee was going for his big spirit bomb in midair. Balor jumped off of Lee's shoulders, hit a double foot stomp in midair. Balor flew over the ropes with a tope. Balor ran around the ring, dropkicked Ciampa into the barricade. And NXT has the tendency to do this spot often. Shotgun dropkick into the barricade. Ciampa hits the barricade, knocks what was obvious plants out of their seats, sitting front row. Balor missed a double stomp off the top. He went for the coup de grace. He missed the coup de grace off the top. Lee met him off the miss of the coup de grace with a pounce. Ciampa with a chop block, and then followed up with an air raid crash on Lee that got a massive pop from the crowd and a great near fall. Ciampa couldn't believe that Lee kicked out. Morrow said, how much does Goldie mean to Tommaso Ciampa that he powered up Keith Lee in an air raid crash? Great spot. Lee with a spine buster to Ciampa, followed up by a moonsault press on Ciampa. Ciampa somehow kicked out. Lee followed up with a pop-up powerbomb and couldn't see Balor on the top rope. While Lee had Ciampa up in the powerbomb, Balor leapt off the top rope with these coup de grace on Lee. So Lee hit the spirit bomb on Ciampa. Lee couldn't see Balor off the top rope. So after the spirit bomb on Ciampa, Balor jumps off the top, delivering a coup de grace on Keith Lee as he's sitting in the pinning position with Ciampa after the spirit bomb, covering him for the 1, 2, 3, and Finn Balor wins. the triple threat match and is now the new number one contender for the NXT Championship. December 18th, it will be Adam Cole and Finn Balor on NXT TV. Now, going to go over the why here. I don't really have much to say outside of what I have written here, but this is enough to give you guys an idea of where my mindset is with Keith Lee not winning this match after everybody thought Keith Lee was going to win this match. Why Finn Balor? Why is it Finn Balor and Adam Cole next week for the NXT Championship? I had Lee winning and possibly moving on to the main roster after all the rumors of Vince loving what he's seen from Keith Lee at Survivor Series with Roman Reigns. Balor has been pushed as NXT's version of Jon Moxley. You want to look at both men, the similarities are there. The similarities are certainly there. They're tough, with attitude, and each brand is theirs. Balor wants to take NXT and bring back his version of NXT in 2020. Jon Moxley, he's a savage animal who's been caged for 6 years, and he wants to make everybody a victim on AEW's program, and he wants to show everybody how he's been in captivity for 6 years by winning the AEW Championship. They both have very similar scenarios going on each show. So Balor hasn't suffered a loss yet. He hasn't suffered a loss yet on NXT TV. Why give him one here in a triple threat match scenario with Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee? If you're going to have Balor lose in a one-on-one match. Have him lose to the NXT champion, which makes Adam Cole continue his momentum in the banner year that he's having. It's only going to enhance Adam Cole. And whoever is going to have Adam Cole after this, it's going to make them look better. It's going to be a ripple effect. It's going to be a ripple effect. Balor is not in NXT to lead NXT. Balor is not in NXT to be the NXT champion. Balor is in NXT to enhance the brand and give the brand some mainstream notoriety, being that he was on the main roster for 3 years. No matter what you think of his main roster run, Balor is a big-time guy. He's a face of a brand. So they took what he was on the main roster and applied it to NXT, and he's got a big fan base where people are going to go out of their way and watch what Finn Balor does. Finn Balor is not there to win the NXT Championship. Finn Balor is there to enhance NXT in the Wednesday Night War. Finn Balor is there to enhance everybody he is in the ring with and put them over and get them to the next level. I'm sorry to say that. For you guys who are looking at Finn Balor as a possible NXT champion in the future, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It will only happen when there's absolutely nobody else left to build. He's not there for those reasons. Not right now anyway. So, Cole and Balor. If Balor loses to Cole, which I'm expecting, it's going to make Cole look even stronger. And for his eventual loss to whoever it is, Adam Cole, either it's Ciampa or Lee, it's going to make either one of those guys look better. Now, Balor and Cole is the right match if you are WWE. With how December 18th is shaping up, it is obviously the right match. What looks better to you on paper if you're NXT, knowing that AEW is putting a lot into that show next week? What looks better to you on paper? Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole versus Keith Lee, or Adam Cole versus Finn Balor? Take nothing away from Keith Lee, but Balor versus Cole is the match NXT is looking at to give them the best chance of beating AEW in the ratings next week during the Wednesday Night Wars, with both shows shaping up to be pay-per-view-like shows. It looks like they might be building Lee up some more. Just consider Keith Lee pasta sauce on a Sunday afternoon. It's not really at that proper taste that you want. It might need a little bit more pepper. Might need a little bit more salt, a little bit more garlic, a little bit more oregano. Whatever you guys like to season your sauce with, it's not quite there yet. Keith Lee is that pasta sauce that is not quite there yet. It looks like they might be building Keith Lee up just a little bit more with a potential takeover match against Adam Cole, which I am okay with. Because if NXT is known for one thing, it's not squandering momentum for top-tier talent. Keith Lee has so much momentum, NXT knows that. They didn't want to waste it right here against Adam Cole and then have him lose eventually, unless they wanted to hotshot the title. I knew this already. They were not ready to take the title off of Adam Cole. So again, not only with the AEW effect, what looks better? Adam Cole beating Finn Balor and becoming stronger? Or Adam Cole beating Keith Lee and that's it for Keith Lee? You got to put your momentum in Keith Lee here. You got to save him for when the time is right. And again, I need to stress, WWE is not ready to take that title off of Adam Cole. Could be a potential takeover match against Adam Cole. Again, I am okay with it. You're probably asking yourself, what about Tommaso Ciampa? We all had ideas of him returning and getting the title back that he never lost. Goldie and Ciampa reunited once again. Keith Lee is so hot, and all of his momentum right now might have put him in a position ahead of Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa and Goldie might be on the back burner right now, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Now, we could be looking at Keith Lee taking the title off of Adam Cole with Tommaso Ciampa, like I mentioned last week, turning back into a heel, turning back to his vile ways to get Goldie back. That's the scenario that I would have play out. How good can Ciampa be before he realizes it ain't working? With what he's doing right now, it ain't working to get Goldie back. Befriending people, working alongside people, teaming up with Dijakovic and Keith Lee and Matt Riddle and being a top-tier babyface in this company. With Keith Lee and the momentum that he's on, clearly showing everybody that he can be the babyface that this brand needs, a big player in WWE. Keith Lee has the makings of a top-tier babyface of the company. So what would that mean for Tommaso Ciampa? It's so weird to see Ciampa, even after all the sympathy that WWE wanted from him, it's still so weird to see him working alongside everybody in his journey back to Goldie. So, befriending people, working alongside people, Ciampa got the title the first time because he was a loner and he was a prick. That's all it might take for that to happen again. And Keith Lee is so over right now that it would help both of them equally and enhance both of them greatly if executed. With Keith Lee taking the title off of Adam Cole February 16th at TakeOver, if that is what NXT is building towards, and then Ciampa turning on Keith Lee and going back to being a heel, and then him eventually getting Goldie back, and we get our old Ciampa back with Keith Lee leading the charge on NXT as a babyface? Could be. Because if they're not giving Keith Lee the title or the title match next week and they're going with Balor, it's for one reason and one reason only. On paper, it looks better against AEW, and they're not ready to just squander everything that's happening with Keith Lee right now. Ciampa is going to be the biggest question coming out of all this. It's going to be Ciampa and Lee. Does Lee get the title February 16th? Could be. Could be. And if Keith Lee is trending upwards the way he has been, I say pull the trigger. Or you could go with the predictable match where Ciampa takes the title off of Adam Cole WrestleMania weekend at TakeOver Tampa. Either one of those situations is going to work, but for an unpredictability factor, I would go with Keith Lee taking the title off of Adam Cole. I really would. And then maybe having Keith Lee and Tommaso Ciampa at TakeOver. That's what I would do. That's what I would build as your heel and babyface match going into 2020. So the reason why Balor is the man next week is because on paper it looks better to NXT going head-to-head with AEW. And they want to save, it looks like they are legitimately saving Keith Lee for TakeOver, which I hope is the case. Because everything we're seeing from Keith Lee, it's organic, it's natural, it's fun, it's exciting, it's interesting, and it's something that doesn't really come along all that often. Done right, it could be a huge moment in NXT. Not as big as Johnny Gargano, but it could be one of those Johnny Gargano-like moments with Keith Lee becoming the man in NXT against Adam Cole winning the championship. So we'll see what happens. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed it, let me know down below. If you made it to the end of the video, use the hashtag TeamJD down in the comments below. I'd love to see how many of you guys made it to the end of the video. Let me know what you think about Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, and Adam Cole, Finn Balor, and the convoluted yet still exciting NXT title picture. Let me know what you guys think of Balor and Adam Cole next week. What do you want to see happen with Keith Lee? Let me know what you're thinking about Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. A lot of stuff happening next week, and I'll be here to cover it all. Thank you so very much. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell also for all notifications. Check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week so far. And I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow afternoon with episode 304 of the #1 podcast right here in the YouTube wrestling community. And that is Off the Script. Enjoy your Thursdays, guys. I'll see you right back here for episode 304 of OTS. See you guys later.